Hello guys, and welcome to this video. I'm going to show you how to draw the human face like a pro using the Loomis method, which was popularized by Loomis in the earlier period. More on that later. The very first and the basic way to start with this is to draw a circle, which I'm going to draw a rough circle. It doesn't have to be very accurate. So I'm going to draw a bigger one so that you can be able to see well. It doesn't have to be very accurate because we're going to draw, or rather to rub, the outer face. After that, I'm going to subdivide this circle into two halves, which I'm going to draw somewhere here. Then I'm going to subdivide the circle into two halves again, but this time I'm going to do it horizontally. Remember, this is vertical. I'm going to do it horizontally, and so I'm going to draw it somewhere here. Now this line, I'm going to call it the brow line. Then I'm going to draw or subdivide the two halves into other halves, which are like thirds. And for this, I'm going to do it the top one here. And this, I'm going to call it the hairline, or where the hair line starts. Then the distance between the hairline to the brow line should be the same as from the hairline to the brow line, and therefore I'm going to assume this is where the nose line is. I made some mistake there when I say the hairline twice. This should be the nose line. Then I'm going to extend this a vertical line up to somewhere like here to match this distance between the brow line and the nose line. Remember, this distance should be the same for accurate measurement. Then I'm going to assume this, and then I'll call this the chin, or just call it the chin line, or however you feel like. All right, now with that, I'm already done. You can draw ovals on both sides, but for me, I don't see the need for drawing, because what I'm going to do is just to draw a line from the nose hairline to the nose line, right, and on both sides. After I'm done with that, I'm going to join this to the chin line on both sides. Make sure that these lines are matching so that the face looks more proportional. After you're done with this, now you can lab these outer faces, or the outer sides of the circle, because we don't need them anymore. The next side, or the next thing we're going to do, is to draw the ears. And for the ears, I basically extend this line, the brow line and the nose line, but this should be, you should extend it more than the nose line. Then after that, you can join now the brow line to the nose line, and do the same with this, and then join. All right, after you're done with that, now you can draw something like these lines. These are for the inner side of the ears, and you can draw something like this. This matches the ears. The next we're going to do is to draw the brow line, or the brows. And for the brows, you can, depending on the brows of the person involved, you can draw something closer to this. But remember, this depends on the blows of the person involved. Then you can do the shading, but make sure they are basic shading. The next we're going to draw is the nose, and for the nose, you can There are various ways of drawing the nose. I will just basically draw this or use this method of drawing the nose. I can maybe make it bigger because now we're doing a very huge face. I've drawn this big face because I want you to see it, to see what I'm doing. And so I'm going to draw even this. The next I'm going to draw is the mouth, and for the mouth it should sit between the nose line and the chin line, and so I'm going to assume it's somewhere here. Alright, I'm going to draw this horizontal line, sorry. We don't need this anymore. Then we're going to draw the top lip, and for the top lip I'm going to draw something like a V, which should be slightly below this top or this bottom of the nose. If you watch at your mouth carefully, you'll note that it just sits somewhere there. Then I'm going to draw the bottom of the lip. After that, the next thing we're going to draw is the eyes, and for the eyes we're going to draw as if it's 3 eyes, like with one eye as if it's at the center. See, this looks as if there's another eye somewhere in between, so the 2 eyes should be 1 eye apart. Then you can draw now the pupil. After you've drawn the pupil, we're going to do the basic shading over here, which shows where the subject is looking. So as you can see, they're looking at us. The next thing we're going to draw is the hairline, or where the hair is. Remember, we don't need this outsides of this circle because we are done mapping the face proportions, so we don't need even this vertical line. So for the hair, what I normally do, because this is a male figure, I'm going to extend this line there. Then after that, I'm going to bring it somewhere here. Then after that, bring it again there. Then extrude out, and then in, then out again, back to where the ear is. Then I don't need this line anymore. If you wanted to draw someone with no hair, you would have drawn without these lines, because now this shows that there is hair. Then after that, now you can now draw the hair from here. Now this depends on the hair of the person you're drawing, so let me just draw roughly something closer to this. Then after that, now I can draw something like this. All right, so I'm assuming this is the hair of the person that we've drawn. So I was basically showing you how to map or draw the human face using the Loomis method, and I'm hoping that maybe you've learned 1 or 2 things. And if you've done that, kindly comment, like, and let me know what you'd like to know in the future. Until next time guys, peace and love.